Guillotine asks, how do you deal with character death, especially in the context of more deadly games like OSR or Shadowdark? This could be a major problem or a major hindrance to have the campaign lift off. This is a very simple question, but it has some implications that really go into how OSR games work and what makes them fun to play. That's like 3 other videos, so I'll do my best to keep this one focused purely on character death. This can be an issue more for players who aren't used to old school games, OSR games, classic D&D. Setting up the expectations at the beginning of the campaign is really a key issue. I've learned this the hard way, that when players have a mismatch or I haven't communicated properly, then there can be some hard feelings and people get frustrated. So when I'm running Swords and Wizardry, OSRIC, any of those kind of games, I tell players they are going to lose a character, and there's a good chance that maybe more than one over a long campaign. And telling them that up front helps them get past it faster. Even if you have a group of experienced players, character death can be a significant event that can shift your tone or end the campaign, because that does happen. And I try to prevent it, and prevention begins when I'm creating the sandbox. So I'm building the sandbox so it has an existence independent of the player characters. That's the most important thing to prevent character deaths from wrecking the campaign, and that may sound a little weird, so I'm going to explain it. One of the reasons why I build sandbox campaigns the way I do is I give the place a spark of life and excitement all of its own. And if I've done that well, the players will be fascinated by what's going on there, and they'll be willing to come back to explore it, even if they've lost a character. We're zooming in on the actions of a particular group of characters. And if they become the dinner meal for a pack of ghouls, then we can zoom in on a different set of characters who are also having exciting adventures in a place full of wonder and mysteries that have yet to be revealed. If the group decides they want to play in Middle Earth, they probably aren't interested in replaying Frodo's trip to Mount Doom. They want to go on their own adventures with different characters, but they want to do that because Middle Earth is exciting and a cool place that they want to explore. In the beginning of a sandbox campaign, most of the adventures are going to be exploration focused. Characters will leave their home base, go to an adventure location, explore it, do all the usual stuff, kill monsters, find treasure, and then they're going to come back. They'll repair, recover, replace losses, and repeat. There are campaign structures that are nothing but that cycle. Hex crawls, point crawls, West Marches campaigns are like that. Mega Dungeon campaigns are like that. And they don't rely on a specific group of characters doing a specific set of things the way a story campaign does. That exploration focus is resilient to player character deaths. And it's a good option if you have a table where players are coming in and out, or you're doing an open table thing at a game shop or something. What could change is the tactics of the party if a particular character's skill or their magic items are lost when they fall down a bottomless pit. The party's magic user being dead can make a difference in how they attack the next problem. Character deaths can be hooks and objectives for other kinds of adventures. I really like it when character death puts into motion what I call the perpetual vengeance machine. A faction does something to the party that they really hate, and the party takes every opportunity to kill members of that faction or undermine them. And then if the faction is large and powerful enough, that exchange can go on for a really long time. I've even seen players get mad because of a faction killing a non-player character. PC death could be an opportunity to drop a hook for an adventure you just wrote. The high-level cleric is willing to cast a spell, raise dead, but you got to go do this mission for him. If there's a total party kill, the players might want to just do a reset and go back to dungeon mode for a while. And I always have a couple of adventures ready to go for that. If I need to, I can go grab a free or a cheap adventure online to fill the gap until I get more stuff worked up. I also keep a timeline and a calendar of important events that are going to happen in the future of the campaign and that have nothing to do with the player characters, and schemes that the major NPCs are doing that the players aren't directly involved in at the moment. And I just keep notes. I don't go crazy into detail, but now at this point I might decide to pull something out of that in order to make it interesting enough for the players to want to keep going. We may need to take a break, but usually I'm going to have stuff ready to go or easily built within a week or two. I have used several different methods of character generation for the replacements. I tried running campaigns where the player started over with a brand new, fresh first level character and 0 experience. And that worked for as long as the party was 2nd or 3rd level. But when they started facing monsters with breath weapons or fireball, that 1st or 2nd level character didn't survive, even if they were in the back row and made their save. So I found I needed to have a way for characters to at least level up halfway from 1st level to wherever the party was at in order to at least survive. Depending on what kind of campaign you're running, I think a stable system works. And a stable is basically the players each have 2 or 3 characters and they can switch between those characters from session to session or adventure to adventure. This works really well if you have an open table kind of campaign and you have different players showing up every week, and that way you can mix and match characters when you need to. Dark Sun had something called the character tree. It's a stable system where you have 4 characters. The player plays an active character. If that character goes up a level, the player selects one of their inactive characters and levels that character up. So then they have a leveled up character if they need a replacement. My technique for bringing new characters or replacement characters into the game in the middle of a session are a little more loose, improvisational. Maybe the new character is a prisoner of some monsters in the next room and the players hear them yelling. Or the cousin of the character that just died shows up, having tracked the party to the dungeon, and weeps and moans to learn that their family member has just died. A lost adventurer happens to be in the dungeon in this little side room, so on. These sorts of things work fine. And this is like an area where players don't really care if it's silly or doesn't. It's not verisimilitudinous. Because it's worse to have a player sitting there watching everybody else play for 2 hours when their character could just jump in and it would be fine. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you for asking.